Hey guys, I'm going to take just a couple minutes to show you how you can mimic basically pull-ups and also chin-ups if you do not have a pull-up bar or if you don't have a door attachment. A lot of times people use the bands with a door attachment, and I'm going to talk a little bit in a minute about why I personally don't use the bands anymore. Some of you probably know, but I have had, there's a conversation that's been going on in one of my fitness Facebook groups about this topic, because a lot of them don't have pull-up bars, and they don't necessarily want to use the bands, or they're just wondering what they can do when they're doing pull-ups or chin-ups in some of their home programs. So I have a lot of people doing hammer and chisel, and there are lots and lots of pull-ups and chin-ups in that program, as well as all kinds of P90X and 22-minute hardcore. So I'm going to show you guys what you can do that basically is the same effect. So if you're doing a wide grip pull-up, right? So the bar is here, you're pulling up. Here's what you can do. So grab a set of dumbbells. These are 12s. And let me make sure I'm in the window. So basically, you want to hinge forward. Now, my back is not rounded. And notice my tailbone is lifted, my back is flat. So there's a nice long line from the crown of my head down to my tailbone. And by the way, I did not introduce myself. My name is Holly Giuliano, and just so you know my fitness credentials, I'm an AFA certified Group X instructor. I'm certified in Turbo Kick, Plyo, Insanity, and so I teach Group X 5 to 7 times a week, and so we talk form a lot. So you don't want your back rounded. You want to have your chest up, make sure your core is engaged. That's going to help protect your back. And you just grab a set of dumbbells and do a wide grip row. Okay, so just pulling right here. So from the front, you're here. Now, the key with doing these is you want to make sure, I always tell my classes this, when you pull back, think like you're squeezing a pencil between your shoulder blades. From the back, really get that nice squeeze. And that's just one thing you can do in lieu of the wide grip pull-up. So let's talk chin-ups, which is my personal favorite because they're easier for me, and I love, you get the lat effect, right? So when you're doing that, you're really working the lats here. So this has the same effect as doing it like this. I mean, granted, doing pull-ups, you're using your own body weight, so there's the benefits with that, a little extra weight there. But so if you're doing chin-ups, basically, same thing. Okay, so you're gonna hinge, tailbone up, back flat, and you do a reverse grip row. Okay, just like you would do a reverse grip. So to show you here, just make sure those elbows stay nice and tight into your rib cage. Okay, pulling, elbows are going straight back. So there it is from the side again. Okay, so same thing, still working your lats, biceps, a little bit of everything. So that's it. Super short, super brief. I know some of I know in hammer and chisel, and even in 22-minute hardcore, there's a couple, excuse me, there's a couple moves where you would do like one chin up or one pull up and then drop and do a burpee. So same thing, you could do one row, drop the weights carefully, bending down to a squat before going back. You don't want to just come over. Use your legs to lower you, and then hit that burpee, and then back up, grab, do another one, okay? I also know there's one where you do a chin up or a pull up, and then you would do like a tuck, like bringing your knees up from the bar. Obviously can't do that. So like in my Insanity classes, for instance, I have people, if they don't want to do a tuck jump, do the knees and really focus on those obliques. So that's what you could do. You could do, let's see, one pull-up. So you would do one wide grip row, and then knee, really squeezing. Think hip. You're not just lifting your knee. You're thinking hip up to rib cage, really focusing on those obliques. I think that's it. I should see if there's any questions. Anyone? Hi, Katie. Okay. So that's it. I just wanted to show basically my group, because a lot of them are going to be starting, and I know they had this question. I figured, you know what, sharing is caring. So hopefully this helps, and feel free to share it. Feel free to share it as well, and it'll stay on my timeline. This won't get deleted. Trying to think. Oh, I know, the bands. So they have, like, it's like a little door jamb. It's a ball that would go in between a door, and then you close the door, and then you can attach the band to it, right? And you can do that, and basically you'd have the band and you'd be pulling down like this. So again, you're still working those lat muscles. It's all, you're just working them from different angles, and whether weights or bands or you pulling up your body weight. But some of you know I had a pretty bad accident in January with the bands, and again, just to reiterate, it was not related to the band. It was total user error, and I was doing something that was not intended to be used for fitness. I kind of jury-rigged my own little door jamb attachment, and it went awry. And I ended up in the emergency room with stitches in 2 spots on my face. Luckily, it wasn't too bad, and the scars are fading quite nicely. But I'll be honest, I don't like the bands above the head, because those, especially the rubber bands, they get old, they crack, and we take for granted, like we sort of just get kind of complacent and we don't check them. I'm totally guilty of not checking my bands, but they can crack, especially if they're somewhere where they're in the sun. They get weakened, they crack, and they break, and they snap in your face. When you're pulling down, they can snap. And when I shared my story on Facebook, people came out of the woodwork telling me something similar that happened to them, or something similar that happened to a friend of theirs. And a lot of the accidents involved the band snapping. In fact, the same day that I was in the emergency room, it was literally like day 3 of hammer and chisel. There were like thousands and thousands of us starting it, beginning of January, and I was on day 3, and that's when that happened. So I had to take a week off. But the same day that I was in the ER, somebody else was in the ER getting stitches, I think like under his eye, because the band snapped and literally just like whipped him across the face. And it caused the skin to break enough that he had to get stitches. So for me personally, I am not using the bands above my head. I still bring them with me on vacation, and I put them under, and I can do bicep curls, and I might do this, because even if it were to snap, they would go down. Main thing is you just don't want it snapping in your beautiful face, right? So just be careful. And again, you can use dumbbells just like I showed you to mimic the pull-ups and the chin-ups. So hopefully that helped. Like I said, sharing is caring, so feel free to share if you know anybody who's working on pull-ups or they're doing one of these programs. And yeah, so stay tuned. I'm going to try to do some more Facebook Live videos. I'm shooting for a couple times a week. I can't say every day, because that's just not realistic with my kids' schedule and my teaching schedule and whatnot. But it's a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Or if you're watching the rebroadcast, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday.